So let's digress and keep it simple where everybody can understand something. And that is every day in your body, you're making energy. And that energy then releases free radical heat. The heat then is quelled by another part of your immune system. That's all you need to know, the healing part of your immune system. You got your frontline warriors that go out when there's a trigger of stress and they create war and they create heat. And then you have your nurses that come in and clean it all up. Okay. So it's two different parts of your immune system, the killers and the cleaners.
Yep.
Okay. Due to environmental toxins, due to gut microbiome imbalances, due to the diet of the 3 A's, Adderall, antibiotics, and alcohol, which is like females, Americans, like main food groups, and almost most medications, you'll create a lot more killers and not enough cleaners. And then as your body starts having unresolved inflammation, it will overheat your cells. So your cells get damaged, and that's the DNA. And the DNA gets damaged. And when it gets damaged, it makes copies of damage. Now, we all go through this, and we all understand that is aging, biological aging. And that's why when we're young, we seemingly could do anything to our bodies, and it just cleans up right away. Well, what if we could reactivate that inside of all of us and get rid of inflammation so we stay youthful, but also get rid of disease for people that are having a hard time and they've done everything? Well, that's what OID is. And what it can teach you and what it does is it helps your body get rid of the cells that are damaged, that build up, that are releasing inflammation, that is attracting your immune system and making you more tired, more brain fogged, more cellular inflammation. And that's why almost every person that you talk to that starts having, as they get a little older, gets a little bit more inflamed, starts talking about detox pathways, because the immune system, when it gets overactive, gunks up your metabolism. So I'm slower to burn fat. I'm slower to get rid of toxins. I'm slower to metabolize things.
Cells, right? Known as
senescent cells, they call zombie cells. But it's also why I hear my hormones less, meaning my hormones, I'm not as sensitive to my hormones anymore, right? So I don't feel them. So I'm not as vital. I'm not as vibrant. So all the power kind of goes down a little bit because all cells carry messages, and any cells that get bad that don't carry the message turn down the message. So the radio gets a little bit, the lights get a little bit lower. So what I'm talking about is not just revolutionary for someone who doesn't feel good. It's also revolutionary for someone who wants to feel great all the time. See, now we're getting to somewhere that's a lot more fun. And so zombie cells are growing in all of us. But people that are really good about diet and then dieting on occasion and training, they deal with it less because working out is autophagic. That is why people who work out get less cancer. Because when your body goes and looks for resources while you're working out, it will eat the cells that have this damage because they release inflammation. So that's why the body knows where to go get its resources. It's like, where is it releasing inflammation? I'm going to go there, and my immune cells are going to eat it. We're going to metabolize it, and I'm going to use it. Now, many cells in your body have something called apoptosis. Think of it like a Unabomber. They blow themselves up, and then the nutrients get absorbed by the cells around it. But your macromolecules, like immune cells and other larger cells, aren't equipped to do that. And that's when those cells start to build up. So let me give you an example. If you get really sick, or it's whenever you mix any of the three major, the three main stress pathways, inflammation pathways, chemical, emotional, or physical. Those are the three main stress buckets. So usually one of them you're good. Like when you just train and you train a lot and then you sleep a lot and you don't get into any drama, you ain't drinking alcohol, you're not taking Tren, right? Right. Tren's really, really pro-inflammatory. but I get why people take it.
Not for me, baby. I swear, I'm the only one. Remember, he's seen it.
We haven't seen your blood work though.
Actually, you did. It wasn't bad. Remember, my HDL was
Well,
only 32.
okay.
So
But
we
wait,
had Kickle on. I'm like, well, the only 5% responder here.
On this,
saying.
but you also don't get into a lot of drama.
No.
You go to bed at like 8 every 7
Buddy,
every
7:30. Let's be honest. I'm in bed early.
Okay, but are you consuming lots of alcohol?
No,
or
I
other?
live a very stress-free life because I control my days.
There you go.
Yep. I can
So
get
guess
away with
what?
it.
You can
Yep.
get a lot of chemical stress.
Yep.
Because you reduce your other stressors. You see what I'm saying?
It's all about the poison you want to consume and what you want to trade off.
The poison's in the dose.
Yeah.
It's poison's in the dose. So this is where you'll notice somebody can drink forever, and then all of a sudden they go through a divorce and drink, and they blow up. Or you'll see someone that, like, I've known people that a girl, let's say, can crush in the gym 6 days a week, 6 days a week, 6 days a week, switches her birth control. Boom. Or goes on antibiotics for a chronic UTI 5 times in a row. Boom.
Like that.
Right? Gets the depot shot. Boom. Right? So because what you've done is you've created chemical with the physical. Right? And so those are the shifts that we all talk about in functional medicine. And then we'll usually say, oh, well, let's just fix the hormones. Or, oh, the gut got off, so I'll try to fix the gut. But the problem is, when those shifts happen, think of cytokine storms, think of COVID. When the immune system gets really activated for a short period of time, remember, in war, there's a lot of death, right?
Always.
Okay. All those dead cells need to be cleaned out. But if you don't burn fat effectively enough, because your cleaner cells run on fat. So the cells that go like eat everything away.
Like little Pac-Man?
Yes, they run on fat. So if you're not good at burning fat, then you're going to get a buildup of cells. Like think of like trying to get an Uber after an LA Lakers game. You're going to be there for a while.
Can I stop you right
That's
there?
a good analogy.
Could you just add extra fat to your diet, or is it got to be a ketone?
No, I'm talking about as long as your body can switch metabolically flexible very quickly, then you can feed the immune cells that go clean everything up. But the older we get, the more inflammation that builds, the slower that process becomes. So now you have unresolved inflammation in there that's destroying more and more cells. And we know that this is true. It's called immunosenescence. Mm-hmm. We know this is true because when they look in cadavers of really old people, they'll find lots of immune cells, but they only believe it's happening in the elderly. So when you can look up immunosenescence, I'm not making this shit up. Mm-hmm. It exists, but they don't believe it's happening in anyone under 75. And what I'm here to tell you is it's happening in children as early as 5. That's the future I'm talking about. And I think it's being passed down familially between mother to daughter. And that's why you're seeing faster growths in the unexplained in women, but you're also seeing weird chronic diseases that seem impossible to get rid of in men, like cardiometabolically.
So if you have to be metabolically flexible to have the cells that chew up the senescent cells, then this all goes back to a lot of what we talked about the first episode, where you have to be metabolically flexible.
Yeah, again,
so you have to restore that.
Metabolic. If you can't metabolize the ROS, if you can't metabolize inflammation. So that's why I'm telling people every year that you try to diet again and you're still swollen and your metabolism's getting worse and worse and worse, that means your immune system's getting higher and higher and higher. Yeah. And those people, particularly in females, will not get sick. They'll never get the cold or flu, but they feel sick all the time. And in men, it'll lead to chronically getting sick.
Okay, so the immune system's active here.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying it's fire, fire, fire. Jason's brought up the point of autophagy and all that. Mm-hmm. And I know we've all read, and whether you like the research or not, Dr. Victor Longo talked about the whole idea about, was it fasting 72 hours and the immune system shut off. He had some of this stuff in there.
Dr. Walter Longo's a legend.
Yeah, no.
I've been tracking his work.
Yeah, no, I didn't know about him until my wife turned me on to him. I was like, oh, it's fascinating book to read. I passed on to you. Yeah, and so I guess what we're getting at is this fasting and this turning off the immune system, is this?
We've made a really big jump though, the gradient where you just went real quick, just for everybody to understand. So everybody, I want you to know that when you, like, for example, someone gets like COVID or something, it really activates the immune system and it can create a bunch of senescent cells at once that sit in there like hot coals in your body. And so, like, let's say, for example, you felt that in your gut and you do a gut protocol and it doesn't go away. It's probably because the immune system's sitting in there and senescent cells are sitting in there and you didn't get rid of that. And if you don't get rid of that, you don't get rid of the problem. So anybody dealing with a chronic issue out there, I'm telling you right now, in fact, we know this works so well. We offer guarantees, 3-month guarantees that we can change your life or we'll work with you for free till we do. That's how intense this is. I'll challenge anyone on the internet. You got a problem that's been unresolved, you come to me. If I can't show you that I can't make it better in 12 weeks, I'll work with you for free for another 4 months till we do. No one's going to offer that. That's how much we've got this solved. Because when we solved the riddle for the immune system, guess what? That gut issue you had, gone. That weight loss issue you had, gone. That allergy issue you had, gone. That hair loss issue you had, gone.
Oh, now you tell me.
Your hair loss wasn't immunologic, it was androgenic.
Mine was D-ball based.
It's how you detox your hormones. That's why you'll stay jacked. I'm going to be this skinny beanpole, but I'm going to have all my hair, and you're always going to have muscle, but be bald.
So we just made that jump. You just bridged it. Fasting, immune system. Jay had started this whole thing that began the dive of where are we even looking at. So, like, someone's saying that these are the issues, and you're over here saying, look, we got it down.
Yeah.
What are some steps that people could be taking, I guess, and start identifying and knowing where to go and how to get some resolution?
So the best way is to do a macro criteria assessment. That's what I was just telling you. Because everybody's immune response is going to look different. There's like 14 kind of common symptomatology that you could have, but someone might have 7 of those, another might have 6 of those, and you're
not basing this on lab work, right? Like what the white was.
Man, this is where, again, some of this is still proprietary and that we're about to release.
Sure, that's fair to say.
In my apprenticeship in my university. You can learn about some of it now, but some of it, the markers and the things that we put in, the amount of money that I've spent to research this, some of it we keep a little bit close to the hat in hand. But what I can share for you, and the thing that we know for certain, that we're waiting for more research, but we've done over 10,000 Dutch tests. We're one of the largest supplier of Dutch tests in the country. And what we can tell you is that we know for a fact that if you look at a Dutch test, and you look at your EDO-calanolone number, your beta dominance. So how are you metabolizing your androgens? Because EDO-calanolone, androsterone is actually the hormone you build muscle with, not androstenedione. Right. Androsterone's how you build muscle. Well, you can look at that on a Dutch test, which is a urinary hormone test. Okay.
It's amazing, by the way.
Yeah. Right. And I've been championing that before anybody was.
You're the one who turned me on to it. I know for a fact.
Right. What if your body is leaning very beta dominant in its detoxification of hormones? It means you're having metabolism impairments because of immunological activity. So EDO-calanolone is the end hormone byproduct of too much immunological activity. So if I look at somebody and they're having a lot of these symptoms I'm talking about, the swelling, brain fog, all that, and their EDO-calanolone's high, I know their immune system's really active, or meaning that they're beta dominant. The androgens that they make, they break down into EDO-calanolone instead of androsterone. That means that's the immune mediary is EDO-calanolone. So I know the immune system's active. Now that doesn't mean that I know that it's the main driver. So what I do is I normally run the normal things that I would do, and if it gets rid of it, then I don't worry about it. But if it doesn't, I know that it's OID. Yeah. That's the truth.
And, I've seen this in practice too. Aria, my fiance, she was a natural competitor when she got her pro card and for years. And when we finally met, she had no hormones. And we did a Dutch, and she was all to the left on the beta, like just boom. She couldn't lose weight. And when we did get her to lose a little bit, when you compare pics from the prior years, it was a lot of muscle. And so, we ended up doing a lot of the things that, you talk about, that I learned and heard from you. And that was one of the first times I think we used some semaglutide with autophagy work and fasting. And everything worked and her body just works normal now. And so that was the first time I saw that beta. And I saw it in someone and how puffy she was. And I was like, man, what's going on here? And I think I might have talked to you about it one time. I was like, I keep seeing this. And yeah.
That one on that a few
I
times.
was like, I keep seeing this. And so it's an interesting part. But you're saying you don't have to go at it right away because you don't know if it's 100% OID. But you might be able to work the case and it starts to metabolize back to healthy once you boil the stress down. But it could be an indicator that you got to go deeper with the case, right?
For example, there's something called molecular mimicry. So if I have a cold or flu, or if I get a little bit of like an allergy flare, if I were to do an autoimmune panel, my ANA, which is anti-nuclear antibodies, this is a test to see that if you have antigens with there's certain nucleal DNA strands and the way that they're developed, the shape of the protein is more anti-nuclear antibodies. So these are things that are going to be looking to attack your DNA. You can do that test. Anybody can do that test. Check out practitionerdepot.com to get your lab. It's called Tier 1 Autoimmune Panel. And you can just do it's only like 100. Tier 1. It's a basic autoimmune panel in case you want to check for rheumatoid factor, sediment rate, stuff like that. Like basic stuff. It's only $190. So it's a good way to, get a test. If you order the test, it emails you a script that you just go to LabCorp and get it done really easily. But you can get false positives. Right. So your immune system could be bumped up for a couple of reasons. You could just be going through a breakup. But if it doesn't calm back down, it's because it's super pissed off. Like long haul or COVID. You kicked it off, it's super pissed, and now it won't calm itself down. So that's why the medical world has been trying to figure out, well, how do you actually calm the immune system down? That's what we figured out. The immune system, because it's in every single system, you have to have a process to knock out inflammation in the systems. And if you do that really quickly, and we can do that within 12 weeks, and it's still there, then we know it's the immune system, right? So now we have to go after it particularly, and we have to starve it out. That's part of how you do it. Now, there's many other steps to it. I don't want people to, if people listen to this and they don't try to calm it down first and they just jump into fasting or they jump into caloric restriction, you're just going to flake the shit out of muscle.
100%.
Right? Your semaglutide ain't going to do it. Like people think semaglutide was what we're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead and give any of these people semaglutide. See how far that gets you. Nowhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen it. They've come to me and nothing.
That's right.
Nothing.
So that's why I'm telling you what we have is truly revolutionary. And we know how many lives, the lives that we're liberating right now, the lives that Jason's liberating, the medical system has no clue how to solve because they don't know how to use nutrition, and they don't know how to get inflammation out of organ systems, not using medications or anything like that to help clean it up and balance ROS, calm the immune system down. You've got to calm it down. That's why women's ANSs, like they're always nervous. They're always tense because their immune system is stressing your central nervous system out.
The nervous system is fired.
One of the strongest things that'll tell you, like someone's about to get sick, is if they got random anxiety. Like that was one of the big ones for COVID was anxiety. Well, why? Because the body's at dis-ease. It can tell the immune system's up, and it's the nervous system's ringing the alarm, but you don't know what the problem is. So it just seems like random anxiousness, nervousness. The immune system's upregulated, and then when you calm all that inflammation down, guess what? The anxiety drops, and you'll see it all the time. Right? And so then your catecholamines calm down because the body's not on alert anymore.
Which means they can begin to unwind the screw.
They can be able to unwind, but once again, like the way that your body gets rid of unwanted bad cells in the body that it can't get rid of, it uses a cellular function called autophagy. Now, many people have genetic SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. That means that like when a gene was put together, like one of the base pairs was off. So now you got this weird gene. So the gene doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It'd be like getting instructions from IKEA and it didn't tell you how to put the base on the thing, right? So every cabinet you make is fucked up, right? So there are genes for autophagy. There are genes for the immune system, and there are genes for how your body produces energy and doesn't release ROS and detoxes, those pathways. you're going to want to, if you want to really prevent this from happening to you, you should do like our Pro 7 gene test on practitionerdepot.com and just make sure you optimize. You take supplementation or dietary lifestyle interventions that prevent your body from getting buildup. And if you know your genetic profile, you can navigate that pretty easily and it'll help maybe avoid some of that stuff.
Is that certain things like, I know I have an MTHFR. Is that like, taking the SAMEs and the methyl, those are the things you're talking about. So find out where your
trimethylglycine. Yeah. So those can help a lot too. But I think the most important thing for people to know is that if you practice annual, if you're generally healthy, I think if you practice like once a season, maybe you do it for 2 weeks or 4 weeks. And you practice something like either like OMED, which is 1 meal a day, or you get yourself into ketosis, or you regularly train but don't overstress your body, or you practice what I do is spiritual fasting. You can induce accelerated autophagy in your body and go through a cellular cleaning. The flush that I designed helps clean out your organs and your blood and your urine, but fasting or autophagy will clean cells out of your body. It's cellular detox. That does not happen in mTOR, meaning you do not, when you eat a bunch of food and you try to detox, you're not eating out, you can't detox cells out of your liver. They have to be metabolized through breakdown and then turn into energy, which is a different function. And that only happens on that AMPK pathway. So people that start having slower metabolisms or metabolism issues are now starting to back up and accrue senescent cells. And they're just going to start getting puffier and puffier and puffier, eating less food, eating vegan, eating carnivore, I don't give a shit what you do because it's only 20% of the problem. It comes back to the immune system. And that's why this is absolutely revolutionary. And I know someone's going to watch this podcast and it's going to answer all the questions. They think they're dealing with 17 different issues. It's the same thing. If I have high cholesterol, triglycerides, my waist to hip ratio is messed up, my blood pressure is high, and I think I got 4 or 5 different issues. No, you don't. You got one issue. You step on the root, all of them go away. And that's metabolic syndrome. You get rid of metabolic syndrome, all of a sudden, all of your other issues go away. Same thing with the immune system. So all OID is a level of inflammation that is built up in the immune system that's led to a bunch of comorbidities that then we call things like autoimmune disease, or we call it menopause, or we call it hair loss or whatever. And infertility is the big one. We're getting so many fertility cases right now. I never thought, but fertility is probably where a big part of my career is going to go, because people's immune systems is exactly why they're not getting pregnant, and the medical system's not telling them.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I was reading volume 2 of that LDN book, and they were talking about how that can help with infertility. And I guess it's probably the same way, because that can help push
Same thing.
autophagy pathways and modulate the immune system.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and I didn't really fully grasp it, but that now hearing you talk about that makes sense.
Yeah, LDN helps raise natural opioid levels in your brain. And what that does is calm your ANS and allows your immune system to calm down so that normal autophagy can occur. Because when it gets too overactive, it blocks it. Remember, that's the problem. So that's how something that's almost neurological turns physiologic in nature. And this is just the beginning. We're learning so much. And I think that people at home should know that almost most cancer starts as an undead cell.
Mm-hmm. Senescent, like we were talking about.
Senescent
These cells that build up.
So that's why more women that have PCOS get cancer. That's why women in menopause have more cancer. That's why women that have chronic health issues get more cancer. So you start tying all this together. You start to go through in a whirlwind and go, wow, like this is like foundational. This is.
Now it puts together a lot of pieces for me sitting over here. In regards to just where you just see people just like locked, and then you have to convince them, well, hey, we're gonna have to try some weird stuff, a lot of weird stuff. I don't even know what you do, and I only know like the little stuff I've tried, but what you're getting at is definitely like eye-opening to me over here. What about you, Jay? What do you want to say to kind of close it up in these last few minutes?
I mean, number one, I've learned something even more. I always usually do. So thank you. Number two, as someone who does not know everything that you do in OID, I'm looking forward to hearing more and more about what you are bringing out. And but as someone who has listened and applied and read, there's some really powerful things that can be done when you understand these principles. And I think if you're intimidated by it right now, that's okay. Learn and read and go back and listen and write down terms and read about it. And then, Vince does have his university where you can go and learn at depth about it.
So the simple process is just to start taking out any of the immunological triggers. And that's just a simple, functional coaching process. So you can learn that at your university or my university very easily to learn the basic beginning. And then anybody that doesn't get better from that, there are next levels. You know what I mean? So, but you're going to solve a lot of immunological issues. What do you think you're doing when you work a gut? You're working the immune system.
Yep.
Exactly.
What do you think you're doing when you're opening up detox pathways? You're calming the immune system. What do you think you're doing when you're fixing the microbiome? You're calming the immune system, right? Getting rid of inflammation that's been sitting around for more than 6 months. You're calming the immune system. 100%. When you get them to sleep more, their immune system calms down. Get him to calm down more. It's all immunological. So all we're talking about is now at deeper levels of that. And oh, by the way, if you keep cleaning cellular inflammation out, if you get rid of these undead cells, you're going to live longer.
That's where I was.
You're going to get better aesthetics.
Yeah.
You're going to have a better sex life for longer. And your mental acuity is going to be better. And you're going to look younger. So do tell me.
Throw all the fun stuff in there at the end. He's like, by the way,
Well, I guess that's why people that work out and eat right. I mean,
that is the
People
hook
think you're
right there,
younger.
by the way. Drop that as the hook. Start the podcast with that. And then everyone will go, oh, I'll listen.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reality.
No.
I
100%.
guess just, wrapping it up, wouldn't understanding these principles, and you kind of touched on, that's where I was going to go, wouldn't it make sense to educate people earlier in life about the powers of fasting? And I mean, it's not that hard to not eat for 24 hours, right? Like if you did that every 2 to 3 months, wouldn't you be healthier for it?
So first, it's not always the information, it's the population. And so the people that follow this material and this content are more likely to suffer from body dysmorphia and chronic dieting. Mm-hmm. So to introduce fasting earlier to them, I don't know if it would be a benefit or a challenge. I think that who needs to find out about fasting is all the people that don't listen to our information. We have to reach the people that are the people that are like clients' friends, our coaches' friends, their family.
And that's the people
A lot of my gym members who just don't know. Yeah.
Could you not eat the best diet? But if you were, I guess that's what I was getting at.
Amazing. Yes.
If you're not eating the best diet, but you're putting fasting in every 2 to 3 months, it's like, listen, we know you're not going to be that great, but if you just do this 1 or 2 things every 3 months, we're all going to live longer.
Yes. Okay,
That's
that's
what I'm
good. Okay,
getting at.
so yeah, that's a great question.
Can it counter shitty eating almost?
Yeah. So one of the beautiful things is, and that's why, as long as if you're not a chronic dieter, this is a lot easier.
Right.
Carnivore does the same thing.
Okay.
Lion's diet, keto.
Yeah.
Just getting active in the gym also creates autophagy. The easiest way to create autophagy is the gym.
The gym.
Hello.
We know that. Yeah.
Right? Great. But I think the important thing is that if somebody goes to eating 1 meal a day for a couple weeks of their life, could be the thing that stops the cancer when they're older. Could be the thing that prevents the disease when they reach adulthood.
Vital coaching. Are you guys looking for something that's way out there and totally awesome and cutting edge? Then I encourage you to go check out my friend Vince Pitstick's brand. He's also co-formulator, co-owner of New Ethics Formulations. He has Practitioner Depot, so many great things. Vince_Pitstick on Instagram. Give him a follow. He is doing some amazing disrupting things out there in the health and fitness space. Scooby-Doo, what about Scooby-U and Scooby Health? My good friend Jason Theobald, his brands out there. If you're a coach and you're looking to take your learning to the next level, be sure to check out Scooby-U. I put my coaches through that university at my gym, Iron House, and they are all better for it and impacting lives in my local community here in Nashville. And if you guys are looking for some good coaching out there as well, cutting edge, dynamic, with a little bit of a fun twist with Jason's personality, check out Scooby Health. They've got all your needs. Be sure to tell them I said hi too.
I've already decided probably every month I'm going to put in a 24-hour fast.
Yeah.
Like I just know that I have to, based on things that have gone on with my blood sugars and recent health. I got to do things different.
Listen,
So,
but the beauty of this is what I want people to get. This is it. If you eat enough calories, then doing a simple like lower calorie day, or doing a one meal a day, or just having a one meal like a week where you don't eat is incredible for you. The feast. This is really the work that happened after some of Walter Longo's work. This is some of the work that I've been working on.
I know where you're going, I think.
The feast makes the fast work. So the problem in our industry is that people are already trying to overhit autophagy all the time. I'm metformin, train hard all the time, and I'm gonna go no carb, and I'm gonna cut for this show, and then cut for the beach, and then cut for a photo shoot, and then whatever. You're pushing on that pathway too much, and it acclimates. So now you don't go into autophagy when you cut your calories or your carbs again, and that's why you still stay swollen, because you're not getting the immunological benefit from the thing that you're abusing. Oh, shit. So then our group actually, to make it work, needs to eat up. But the other side of it in the research, the people that eat too much, all they need to do is just eat less. And it can do that. And practicing intentional restriction, intentional fasting. And for my spiritual people out there, I'm telling you, the Bible mentions fasting 77 or 78, don't quote me, times. And they used it to heal. Like, it's an ancient technology we have forgot. And it really does work. I agree with that. Our bodies are the most exceptional technology that has ever been created, and we don't even understand everything that it does because we've lost centuries of information left in the cultures that were behind us, and how much we destroyed, and natural disasters and all the things that have come. We don't realize what this vehicle can do. Like, we know very little about what it does. And then when we start pressing the limits of meditation or breathing, or pressing the limits of fasting or physical feats, we begin to realize how much our bodies can actually do. And I still think this is the beginning. Yeah. So there are solutions, by the way. If you're out there, if you're struggling, or you're just don't know why you can't, your metabolism wasn't working the same anymore. You don't know why you're having chronic issues. You can check out vitalcoaching.com, or you can go to my Instagram, Vince_Pitstick. You can go to on my link tree as OID Suffering to Solutions. I do like a 40-minute training on there. You can check it out.
Dude, thank you for coming to talk to us today about that. This is something that you introduced us to. I know Jay talked to me about. I know you have. And we're going to let history in the time of April 4th, 2024, see where this goes from here. But thank you for joining us today, man, and talk about overactive immune disorder. I think this is going to be the groundbreaking episode for a lot of things we see, and I'm sure we're going to have you back on talking even deeper as more comes out when you release your program.
It feels really good to come here and talk to you guys about this, knowing the amount of criticism and the people that tried to stop this and the people that tried to come after us and say that we're not telling the truth because the world was looking at something they didn't understand. and then to be victorious today and see literature coming out in the Internal Journal of Medicine or the Journal of Internal Medicine on IMID, doctors coming out talking about seeing this more and more, the emergence of rapamycin and other autophagy-based research, right? And we started this thing about 7 years ago, the beginning pursuit of it, and then to see finally some validation, and to then have like podcasts like this where we can talk about it in full. It's just a wild thing for me to experience. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Who thought the three of us who hooked up in September of 2019 for a seminar that was all like testing the edge and the boundaries, what coaches were going to talk about out there.
Even further back for Vince and I mean, I can remember having conversations as he was developing his 4Fs, and he's like, oh well, you got your product Slintrol, and I think there's a lot of benefit there, and we're going to start tracking blood sugars. I'm like, oh yeah, I do that, and we're back and forth on the phone. And we were talking about blood sugars then, and now we're back here talking about how you've got to get that healthy in order to really be able to calm the immune system, so these cells that eat the senescent cells are able to get the fats, because our body has to be flexible. It's gone full circle, but it took a lot of understanding, and I applaud him for being what I guess you would call maybe a trailblazer.
Thanks, guys. Man, I received that.
Disruptor, I still stand by.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But it's just interesting how we've all come full circle, and as I see your book staring me in the face, so it's just cool.
Big
it's
Scooby
just cool.
Prep and the university and Scooby Health, excuse me, and just how much it's taken off, because we were willing. We knew our convictions. We knew what we were seeing was real, and we weren't going to let the world tell us otherwise. And because of that, lots and lots and lots and so many thousands more are going to get better.
You know what's so interesting is I want to thank you guys. And I know a lot of my clients are listening who've tried some of the stuff I've learned, and you guys deal with even the more complex cases than I do. Be my gym pop people who are just willing to try just different approaches you guys have taught me over the years and see success. This stuff really does work. And this stuff is really going to impact a lot of coaches and a lot of people, because I always tell everybody, go through a grocery store. Everybody's getting sicker. Nobody's getting healthier. And there's a lot of people who need this information. So get it out there, dude. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming with us. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Take care.